We're a region that has, at its core, the building DNA. And we've been fortunate to maintain the curiosity and drive that motivates that building and inventing. But it doesn't happen without key people like today's guest, Jesse Rodgers, a co-founder of Tribe HR, an entrepreneur, an investor, and a community builder. Jesse is passionate about helping ambitious individuals turn their ideas into impactful ventures. We talk about our builder community, and we discuss what makes founders thrive in this competitive landscape. His passion for building has led Jesse to create the Builders Club, a collaborative environment that is instrumental to the future of our community. Please enjoy today's episode. Okay, well today we have Jesse Rodgers, an old friend of mine. We sort of developed our elbow pads in the early days of the tech world in Waterloo, and I've known Jesse for, I'd say, about 15 years. We probably got to know each other a little better in the last 5, but I'd always heard of each other. We've been through the mill with the whole incubator programs here and the accelerator programs, and this week we wanted to talk to someone on the founder side of things. I don't think Jesse plays any music or sings. I've never heard it.
No, I'm not a singer. No.
You're not a singer. Okay,
so he's in my club.
He's in your club.
Yeah.
Okay, it's 2 to 2.
Yeah, if I'm singing, there's something wrong.
It's like me playing music.
Yeah.
If that's the case, we got a problem. Houston.
It's a dirge. So I just want to say thank you to Jesse for joining us. We're here with Steve Lehmann. Hey. And Ed Denier.
Steve's the man of many words. Hey.
And Ed's the man of
the
many
coffee
more.
guy.
The coffee guy.
Yeah, the coffee guy. God, that's an important role.
It is an important. That's why we're here. He gives us free coffee once in a while. Okay. Anyways, so we'll get going. Jesse is the. Would you call yourself the CEO of the Builders Club, or the founder, or the developer, or
the little vacuum we have as a CEO? I'm just there, put out the garbage. Although I have kids for that too.
Yeah, well, that's why we have them.
That's why you have kids. But yeah, I'm founder, but it's not really like a CEO. I think CEO gets overused. So
yeah, no, it looks good on a card for those who don't know what a CEO is.
If there's no employees and no board, who's like, what are you executing?
You're the visionary.
Just hanging out with a bunch of people that like to build stuff.
Yeah, nice. We will get into that.
Yeah.
What we want to do is sort of follow the journey of Jesse Rodgers, how you got started, how you got into the world of startups and investment world, and even before then, like what helped shape you. And everyone's different, and that's the beauty of this podcast, is that people who really care about founding things or writing songs or whatever, we all have different backgrounds, and we're all shaped differently, but we end up in the same place. And there's some sort of common denominator that we're all trying to understand. So with that, I'm going to toss it to Ed, because Ed has
My spiel?
your spiel. Your first, you get things going.
I'm usually the guy that I don't understand what most people do in their day-to-day. My world is you're present in my world. It's all about coffee and production and sales and the gamut. But I always wonder what other people's day-to-day life is like in their microcosm of what they consider their work or their creation or their foundation or whatever it is that they do. And I'm curious, is it like what I do, or what does a day in the life kind of look like in this world that you've created?
A day in the life of my world? I mean, It's been it changes all the time. I don't even know. There's no day. There's no typical day. I mean, the last few months have been going into the office and as it is, and whatever comes up comes up. I mean, there are sales, there are customers. There's we're raising a fund right now, so there's a whole bunch of that. There's all kinds of monotony of odd emails you have to respond to that take forever to get a response back. I mean, it's no different than any other day. I just go in. Actually, my day tends to be structured around when do the kids go to the school and when do they need to get picked up, and then go home and pull an evening shift. So
Nice.
it tends to be, but everything in between, I don't know. There's no typical day. I mean, the only thing we do constantly is Wednesdays we have demos, so that's kind of fun at lunch.
And what kind of demos?
Whatever people are working on. Every other week's different. So we do like one Wednesday's a technical focused demos, and the other one's non-technical focused demos. So we can talk product, marketing, life, whatever. I mean, just whatever you want to talk about.
And how big is the space that you're in?
So we have 10,000 square feet at 165 King, right downtown Kitchener.
Okay.
So it's the old fair office that was downtown before COVID. And they had 2 floors. We have the top one. There's a beautiful rooftop patio above us and weight room and stuff in the basement. It's a great building.
What building was it?
It's 165 King. It's the old Bud's building. The old Bud. Yeah.
Oh, right.
The Bud building that has stuff. There's still a
Does it still have the vacuum tube distribution system?
No, he took that out.
Oh, too bad. That thing was so cool.
No, he rebuilt. Jay Shaw owns the building, and
Oh, does he? Oh, I didn't know that.
He stripped the building right down and rebuilt it.
So the old wood floors are not there anymore?
Some of them are.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, not on our floor because we got the new floor.
Yeah.
So we don't get the beautiful brick walls, but we get a lot of light, and it's pretty nice.
I think I've actually been on that patio, but it was somebody else that was there. There was another company that was in that building, I think, in that space.
There's a couple of orgs that run different events in the rooftop. And you got Libro Banks in there. There's a spa in there. It's a nice group of people.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, the rooftop's available to lots of folks. So like students now run big events that, of course, follow the capacity of the building at 150 people. And I mean, they do their kickoffs up there and stuff. It's nice. It's just a nice thing to have for people to use.
Yeah, for sure.
And be on just different experience in downtown Kitchener. So it's nice to be there.
So we might as well just talk about the Builders Club right now.
Yeah, we're just jumping right ahead.
We're jumping right ahead. So
because you want to talk about typical day, and it's
well, your typical day has never been typical.
No.
And I think that's sort of a general rule of thumb for many of the founders. So the Builders Club, perhaps you can tell us a little more about what that is, why you got it started, what's involved in it now, and how you see it going.
Yeah, and maybe I can help you stay on your pattern of discussion too, because I think a lot of what Builders Club is,
it's an evolution.
It's an evolution of where I've come from.
Yeah.
So, and probably better to kind of explain what I'm doing and then get to where it came from rather than all the buildup. And the Builders Club's it's an environment for people, or a place where people can just hang out that want to build stuff, that want to work on stuff, that don't want a bunch of crap to deal with, don't want any BS. They don't want to.
So what BS are you talking about?
Just whatever, just performative, show up to a thing or do a pitch or do whatever, like in front of people, do no audiences. Just, I mean, they can run their own events if they want their own group to be in, but there's no expectations. There's no requirements other than just be nice. Don't be an asshole. Yeah. It's the only rule we have in the place.
Yeah.
Monthly fee membership fee is how we do it. It's about half the price of your typical co-working desk. I'm not funded. This is Jay and I, like Jay giving me a break on the rent, and we collect the membership fee and off we go. And it's been funded from the members from day one.
How long has it been in existence?
Just over a year now.
Oh, cool.
So, and we're using whatever we can find furniture wise and whatever else. Like the most I've bought right now furniture was we bought a bunch of chairs. Canada Health had a auction for their stuff because they are no more, and I bought 12 boardroom chairs, which because we needed some that didn't break. So it was like,
That's important.
well, we have
There's
like,
liability issues there.
well, it's a bit of a sport. Some of our chairs are they're if you lean back, they might decide to. But I mean, it just keeps you in shape. It's a good core exercise. So
Musical chairs are death.
it makes sure you have good posture. Because if you don't,
You might not have any posture.
That's a good lesson to learn as a young builder.
but it's I mean, we have a mix of people, right? So I think the initial thought was like, there's a lot of people in town that have built stuff. They tend to, once they build stuff, they tend to just vanish. And you might run into them in the grocery store, you might run into them different, but they don't engage anywhere. They just live their life. They're doing their thing. They might work on some other projects, but they tend to not come out, and they're hard to get together. So there's a group, the guys I was with Boltmade, who sold to Shopify a long time ago. They're, for the most part, I think all of them now are out of Shopify. There might be one or two still there, and it was like, well, we kind of want to be around other people while we work on stuff. So why don't we just try to find a place to do that? And Jay had the space, and we were like, okay, well, why don't we just give fobs to people and see who shows up, and then just put some structure around, put a brand around it, figure out like a purpose, figure out why we're doing it, like as we go. Like just knowing that if you have really good people around that know how to build things and not a lot of other stuff, just a willingness to talk about whatever and learn from each other and be positive, it's a great place to be. And so we thought there'd be more than just 10 to 15 of us, and turns out there's about 125 now.
Wow.
And growing. I mean, lots of people, we've had way more people apply than actual like become members, because I think a lot of people aren't used to this concept of a club environment. There's something that's like, this isn't about, it isn't about co-working, right? It's not about like you get a desk. It's really like, we charge $150 a month. We were charging $100 a month. And it was, a co-working desk is like $400 a month. Mm-hmm. Like, and it's your desk, but that's not what we do. We're like, well, most people that have done stuff aren't going to be anywhere more than a day a week. Like most people work from home or work from wherever. So we just like, we don't want to charge that much, but we don't want to charge too little. So what do? And just be a place to hang out and not sweat it, right? Like just be, okay. I mean, 150 is getting into the realm of, I still think about that, but $100 is what you pay for your
gym
data
membership.
connection at home and gym membership. So it's like, we wanted to stay in that range. I mean, it's a fancy gym membership at 150, but I think the idea is just try to keep it so that we could have oversubscribe the place, not be bound by the desk, not have all these little rules about how many hours you can spend in an office or meeting room or blah, blah, blah. Just total trust environment, a diverse group of people, mindsets, people on whatever political spectrum they want to be on. And again, you have to talk like adults. You have to just be adults. Like, don't take things personally. Be curious into different people. I mean, know that some people are going to have personality quirks. Like, so what? Like, just learn and be curious and support. And because again, there's too much pressure, right? So it's like, this is an actual safe space. Like, this is one of those like, it's really safe.
Yeah.
And I think it's been working for that. And it's more fun to work that way, right? Like people that are working for other companies working there, people that are not working on anything, they're just working on whatever they feel like, having fun. People that work on crypto, people that work in AI, people that work quantum, like it's med
They're all
tech.
techies though,
It's,
right?
I mean, there's some marketing people, there's a whole bunch of, it's a mix.
Yeah.
I mean, it tends to be heavy tech because that's what people want to work on, but I mean, there is marketing and the people that do different consulting and different things. I mean, we want to be open to a whole group of people, just as long as you're building stuff. It's like, do we want insurance agents? No. Like we don't want lawyers and accountants and real estate agents. Like that's not what you'd find in like, and it's not that anything's wrong with that. It's just, it's not that what their day to day is a little more routine and they don't really understand
the creative side.
The creative side, right? Yep. Like it's, and just stuff that just doesn't make any sense at all. And like, that's the whole point. It's okay. It doesn't have to make sense. You don't have to have a perfect pitch. It doesn't have to make money. Like it has to just be curiosity and growth. And how do you build these things and how do you get excited by them? And see where that path goes. Like a lot of it most really good ideas are absolutely insane until they aren't.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like,
we're doing one now.
Yeah, well, so if it makes sense, you're probably doing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And because it can
Or
make
if you
sense
can
to
explain it to someone in a sentence,
that's not a good sign.
it's not a good sign.
No.
It's like it's Coke, but it's green.
Yeah, oh, great. Yeah.
It's a very clear explanation, but it's probably not a great idea.
No, it's like it's a Mountain Dew. But
You got me there.
That was a test.
yeah.
but I think I think it's like I don't know. I mean, and you mix all that with the timing of what's going on right now, right? Like AI is changing by the day.
Yeah.
What you can do in the capabilities and how people are building companies is changing entirely, like into a space that we don't even understand. You've got 1 or 2 person teams that can generate insane amount of revenue. We don't know how sustainable that's going to be.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. Like make a couple like. There's been a few people locally I know that have gone up into the millions. I mean, who cares what happens next, right? You just made a few million, as long as it didn't cost them millions to make the millions.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, but I think and sometimes it does. Like that's sometimes under the headline that you miss. It's like, oh yeah, they had 3 million in revenue. It cost them 2.95 million in compute, but whatever. So they made $50,000. Well, whatever. There's easier ways probably to make $50,000. But I think the point of all that is just people are being creative. They can get traction, they get all these things, and they learn as they go, and everything's just so different. And I
You
think
find a lot of collaboration going on, or
That was my question.
yeah, it happens.
No,
I mean, again, this is a very low budget environment that's bootstrapped, right? So we don't have any staff. I probably never will. But hire anybody, be a couple co-op students because why not? And co-op students are awesome to have around, and they tend to see the future better than anybody else. So of course you want them around. And
what do you mean you don't need a 55-year-old corporate exec?
they're fine too. There's nothing
No,
wrong
they're
with
not.
that. But I don't need.
I am sorry.
I don't need to pay them.
No, you don't.
They can pay for a membership and come hang out. Like that's the point, right? I think, and we have students that are members, right? Student memberships are like $25. We've got about a quarter of our membership pretty much consistently has been students. They hang out on usually evenings and weekends. They're not usually there during the day, but they're great. They do hackathons in the space and they host, because the whole thing with the membership is you can do whatever you want in the space. You can host your own events. I mean, you got to work in the calendar, but you can host your own events, and because we got a great little event space and we got a kitchen, and it works really well for people to do that type of thing. The hackathons are absolutely hilarious. But I think the collaboration happens, right? Like people get to meet each other. I know people that have got their first couple contracts as an independent contractor through people in this space. People get promotions, like people get heard of, they get connected, they get intros. And we're just scratching, nothing's been intentional, and everything's been just the only intention being we're going to create a place for that to happen. But now, I mean, as we kind of look at it, we've got this remote membership thing that I haven't really pushed on. But people from Calgary and Toronto and Montreal and Ottawa, and they're all like, how can we be part of this? Like, can you put one here? It's like, no, this is the whole premise of this is I think this works in Waterloo. I don't think it works anywhere else. And I think it works in Waterloo only because we have this culture of building. We have this density of builders. We have a lot of success. And part of it is no one in Waterloo, again, generalization, but Waterloo's thing is not to showboat, right? Like it's not it's not a place where it's like, it's hype. It tends to be at its core, and I'm not saying the last 10 years has been that, but I'm saying like at its core, Waterloo is about building. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't really care about flash. Like even if
10 years? 20 years.
Well, I mean, but I don't think
that's argument.
But I would say, I mean, BlackBerry, a device I never really got into, was bare bones functional, right? And it worked, and it was never flashy. Where a Nokia was pretty, and it was pretty cool. Like it made the looks new and thing, but BlackBerry was always functional, and that's what they pushed. When they tried to get pretty, it probably went sideways. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I think the things that we do in this community, we're really good at making things work. We're really good at engineering. We're really good at just figuring stuff out. And we don't need to broadcast it. As a community, generally speaking, we don't tend to broadcast.
At some point you do. I mean, you need awareness. You need to sell these things. You need to market.
That's a flaw in the community. We're not good at selling.
No, we're not.
But I'm not trying to tackle everything. I'm saying I want to take. I want
you're
to get
enabling the build and the development, the creative process without interference from
anything.
Yeah, predators or hype masters,
service provider. Yeah. And I think, but from that, I think this other stuff will happen. I think you need to have the density where people have the support from one another, learn how to build, learn how to have the confidence. Like people who've never done it before, being around people that have deployed a product that's seen 50 million in revenue, like that's really good to see because it's like that's achievable. I mean, we have the team from Beepers around. They sold to Automatic for whatever, a lot of money. But I mean, distribution, they went to war with Apple on how to get messaging, right? Like through the whole thing. Like those folks know how to do that. They're in the room. I mean, it's like you want to be around that. And the funny thing is what you learn is like anything else, right? It's like, well, they're just like me. They just had experience. And the experience really wasn't all. Usually the experience is, yeah, I did a thing and it kind of happened and I don't really know why it happened that way, but because it's just, there's always that you have to be doing the work and eventually you get lucky. But you have to do the work to get lucky. And but there's so much luck in all of this, right? Like you just don't, there's no explanation.
There's something about having a community or a connection with others who are doing similar things, or it gives you and as long as it's not a critical relationship, as long as it's open and there's no fear of asking stupid questions.
There should be lots of stupid questions.
There should be lots of stupid questions.
And I think but that creates the environment where you can get lucky.
Yeah.
Because it's a team sport. Like any of this stuff is building. You look at, we always admire the Valley and the Valley has its flaws, but I mean, you could talk to so many people about so many things, and most of the time, everyone's like, "That's amazing!" Like the first response out of anybody down there is like, "That's amazing!"
Yeah.
And I mean, maybe you'll get the backhanded kind of like, "Here's why my idea is better," but they're still positive and they're energetic and they're supportive and they're working on things too, and it just gets infectious. And a lot of the time, I mean, the Canadiana, right? It's like, here is an issue I have. Oh, and here's the 15 reasons why the way you're focusing on that issue is incorrect. Not that the issue is actually a real issue. No one wants to actually acknowledge the issues. They want to criticize your thinking that led to your explanation. It's like, come on, like you're putting way too much on me now. Like, can we just talk for fun? Can we just have, like, just get things out there? And we don't make a lot of room for that.
This is why we sort of integrate the founders and the musicians.
Same mindset.
It's the same mindset. It's a creative mindset that generally, if you've heard of anybody who got successful, it's because it was luck.
It's total luck.
They just happened to be in an environment. We had Noel Castell, one of the members of the executives with George Michaels and Andrew Ridgely of Wham. He talked about how he's in a cafeteria playing his piano, and then Andrew Ridgely shows up, never met before, and it was
Want to be in a band,
and
then he was,
and then the evolution of how that happened was all circumstantial, but the community, the area that they lived in, produced at the same time Phil Collins, Elton John, the whole bunch of bands, Peter Gabriel. A whole bunch of bands in one little one little area.
Well, the density attracts, right? Like I think that's kind of the magic that Waterloo has and has done not as good as it could in terms of what we're actually building. Because I think what happens, maybe because of where the funding comes from, and it's not that fault of those organizations or those things, but it tends to be, here's what we want to happen, not how are we amplifying what is happening?
Right. And how do we encourage and enable it to grow properly without putting undue pressures on it?
And one, I mean, I might get struck by lightning as soon as I walk outside, but it's like,
we'll wait a few minutes then.
MedTech's one of my pet peeves when it comes to building, because it's sexy to talk about. It's sexy to say how I'm going to solve all these medical issues. But the reality is, it's awful to build anything in MedTech. You've got to get all these approvals. Right. It takes forever. You have to actually have deep expertise. I mean, purchasing in Canada, good luck. Like, you'll have no customers. It's it's hard to build anything in Canada. Try building medical devices in Canada. Like, it's just, you are making everything that's already hard way harder. And are the young people actually interested in that? Is anybody actually interested in building that? No, but you made them think, because it's
Right.
like, I want to hear that story. So they take whatever they were going to work on and change it to meet an ideal of someone who's never built anything. And so because they're manipulating the ecosystem to get the outputs they want, and the ecosystem is not calling the shots. The ecosystem is not saying we're going in this direction, which in music, I mean, today's a little different, but that, like, you think about the genres would come from those areas, because there's a whole bunch of people kind of working together, discovering a music style, doing their shows, sharing ideas, sharing techniques, being in each other's bands, right? Like, it's the same, like the startup world and the band world, like the music world, is not that different, because it is, like you say,
That's why we're here.
It is totally the creative process.
And that's
it's
the
just
thing
output.
that you and I, in our conversations, we always talk about, is that the inability to be truly creative, and the imposition of outside things.
Well, validation. Like, you're always seeking validation, and I think, I mean, again, Canadians are plagued with, like, where do I get my validation from? Because we don't have markets. We don't have like an open market with a lot of things, and I think Canadians just feel like we need to get permission from the institution, whatever it is, that we're good enough, and I think there are places where we don't do that, but we, like, you talk to a lot of founders, it's like, how do I mean, seeking venture capital, like, this is one of the worst things. And this isn't just plaguing Canadians, it plagues everybody. Venture capital doesn't matter. Venture capital is, like, that is not a leading indicator of success. It's a trailing indicator. But we're pushing on people that it's like, you should go raise money. It's like,
Write a
no.
business plan, do a pitch.
Yeah, like, don't do that.
Do these competitions.
Go build something, especially, and again, today, it's like, it's so easy to just go vibe code an idea and show somebody what it is, and you could get somebody buy it right away, and now that's the validation you're after, right? It's it's not a VC
Or an angel.
or whatever. I mean, they'll follow that, because they'll know, like, the good ones know if somebody knows and understands the thing. And I think, like, it's just this idea that we can manufacture success. It's just, I mean, that's never been true.
No.
We've never been able, I mean, there's been a moment in time where you could manufacture bands, maybe, but even if you did that, there was still hyper talented people that,
with a lot of money behind
with a lot of money behind it, that understood a pattern that could drive popular music,
Or they were just lip syncing.
but they were still talented too. Like,
Or it was an AI robot.
But there was good writers that knew the market, and they picked the right people that had the right voice, regardless of whether the people you were looking at were singing. But you're absolutely right.
How many songs did Willie Nelson write? Like, and didn't sing, right? Like,
So many, yeah.
and
they're all great.
And there's so many writers that are like that you never
Yes.
even heard of, right? And I mean, but then there's so many singers that don't write a thing, but their singing's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And so that's fine too. We don't really have that equivalent in startup land too much, but because you kind of have to be a singer songwriter in tech. But
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to call it being a singer-songwriter.
you
Yeah.
have to be.
Yeah. I like that.
Because, I mean, you don't have to know how to sell it and distribute
No,
it.
you can't, because you can't have all.
You can't have all of it, but you do. I mean, you have to have. I think it's almost like if you think about, there's probably the three skills in terms of, you have to be able to sell something, you have to be able to make something, and like, it's just, you can do those type of understanding the different levels of making something, the different levels of selling something, but you can't overdo one or the other. You can't be too business. You can't be too
Exactly.
too technical, because if you're too technical, you're probably building. You have to talk to the customer, which is like that other piece where you talk to humans that aren't the humans that actually have any idea what you're doing and will never tell you the truth. So it's like, and that's the scary thing, right? But then they don't focus in that area at all. They tend to focus on, like, people have money, because that feels like that's the validation. And it's like, money will never build a good company.
Now, how about are any of these builders, founders in your community, are are they being exposed to customers? Do they have access to potential customers or?
Yeah, I mean, I think now you're getting exposed to it a lot faster than you ever were. I think because of the mix of people, we have people that know who the customer is, could be the customer themselves, understands that you have to have customers. Like it's just you inherently, you understand that. And then there's a few in the space, but not many that have never tried that. There's a bunch that had advice to go and do the old growth marketing stuff, which doesn't work.
Are the marketing people in your space going like this?
No, there's no marketing people in the space.
Oh,
Well,
I thought you said maybe.
there's some people that do marketing, but they also build stuff. I mean,
okay,
I don't think
They're building marketing technology.
they're not like I don't think it's like there's nothing. It's just people figure stuff out. Like I don't think.
If it's a good product, it's probably going to sell itself.
The thing I always tell people is like you have to forget everything you're reading and hearing and doing all this type of thing. You have to build something and somebody's got to love it, and it has to just be one person. It doesn't and not a relative, and
Not your mother.
but I mean your mother needs to understand it.
Yep.
But I think that the idea that just get that one customer, and then I say, well, then what did you learn? Find the other one. Then find another one. And then where are they? Well, you know where the group hangs out? Go find them. Because as soon as you do that type of thing and someone actually loves your product, you can then explain it to somebody else where they're going to be like, holy cow, you know who's going to buy it. So not only is that idea interesting, you know who's going to buy that idea. You've solved like a huge problem. Now it's probably wrong and it's probably not how it's going to work out, but it doesn't matter. You've taken the time, you've proven that. And if I think about any of the founders that have had a lot of success that I know, they all early on would like go to the customer's house. They would go like right and watch them use stuff. And they were like right away. Like it wasn't like, they didn't have to be convinced. They didn't have to do anything. Like they didn't have the perfect pitch. They actually made no sense. But if you knew that they got in their broken down car and showed up at a customer's place and just see how they use a product, they're probably going to be pretty successful. They may not be hugely successful, but they're not going to die tomorrow. Like the company's not going to die. Like because they're doing the thing that you have to do to understand. And so the Environment Builders Club is people that have done that. Like they know how to do that. They've dealt with mountains of things. They've had all kinds of issues. Again, they've seen lots of revenue. That encourages other people to say, oh no, this is achievable and easy. You just have to do that. There was a conversation we had just last week last week, today's Tuesday, last week at the Technical Wednesday. And he's has this idea and he's built a prototype and he's doing this type of thing. And everyone in the room was like, well, who are you going to sell it to? Have you talked to them yet? And he couldn't really answer that. And it's like, and how you're explaining this is all crazy because there's another technologist, a guy who does a lot of robotic stuff. And he's just throwing ideas at him. You could do this and you could do that. You could do this. And it was like, and everyone's like, don't do that. Like, don't. And I even, like, I had the comment of, he's really, really smart. Don't listen to him. He's going to screw you up. Until you have a really clear idea of what you're after, right? And it can be totally wrong, but he's going to give you all these ideas and you're going to say yes to everything.
Yeah.
And because you have no idea where you want to go. And if you don't know where you
balls.
want to go,
Yeah.
everything sounds great because you think everything is going to solve your problem. And none of this stuff will solve your problem outside of talking to someone and getting their credit card, right? Like, and getting them to pay for it. And so once you can do that, then you can explain it better and then you can set a rule set and then you can take all those ideas and you can apply them to your product. And if you have people that have that experience around you, it's normal to do that and you don't feel like you're missing out on something. And I think that's if you're working by yourself in your basement or whatever, and you're like, oh, maybe I'm doing this wrong. No one's telling you that, oh, I had that problem. I did this. I did that. Don't worry about it. Stay focused. Go do this. That encouragement, that team sport is super important. Mm-hmm. And I don't think you can't say, hey, you're an expert in marketing and sales. You help that founder out. It's like anybody who's actually done marketing and sales has done it at a scale that's so big. They have absolutely no idea how to help a founder. Yeah. Like they really don't. And if they say they do,
don't believe them.
God bless them, but don't listen to them. Because they have they've.
I would say that about any role, operations, legal. If they've done it at a high level, a corporate level, they have no idea what a founder's going
They've not
through.
taken zero to build a system, like from nothing.
Yes.
Right?
They've taken it from something huge to something a little huger.
Well, if you're going to tweak a system where you already know what's happening,
Yeah.
or that what the output's supposed to be, it's really easy just to keep tweaking the system and you know what the output's going to be.
Right.
But when there's no output, how do you start that? And yeah, you can apply a playbook, but I promise whatever playbook you think is going to work, not going to work. Because everyone's playbook's different, right? In a subtle way that's so frustrating. That takes them a couple of years and look back. That was so obvious. It's like, yeah, but
Now.
it's just one of those things where it's like, as you develop your story, you get better at it. So, I mean, I think in my mind, you can't structure those things. You have to create the environment where the people that know how to do that are around, and build a trusting environment so that people will ask questions. And it happens because then you get trusted advice that's not manufactured, that's not down the throat, and people have more ownership over it. And I think the only other layer you miss in all that is, I also think you need to invest in people. And this is what happens in the Valley and happens in other places, if you invest in people, the community now has a shared benefit and a positive outcome. If you invest in enough people, well, the odds are you're going to get something back. If I try to pick a winner out of a group of 100 people, I'm not going to do that. But if I just invest in 100 people and I expect them to one of them is going to have more than 100x return, perfectly fine. And that's the game we're playing when it comes to building startups and doing this type of thing. And you're investing so early that's not 100x is not, I mean, we're using it for the sake of argument discussion, but it actually isn't a crazy number either, right? So it's like, I think that and 100, you probably get 5 or 6 do something pretty good. You probably get 10 to 20, they'll do okay. Most of them are just going to fade away, but they might do something else,
Or they might work for the other ones that were.
they might do something else, right?
Yeah.
But if the ecosystem did better at investing in them, even small amounts, then everyone was sharing the outcome, and everyone's invested in the outcome, and we're not invested in the attention seeking that comes with, I just know that guy, we're just buddies, because that's like, that doesn't matter. Like, it's like, what's better is like, oh, they were really successful. Yeah, I put in like a little bit of money. I got a little bit of money back. Really awesome. The relationship and the trust that comes with that and the responsibility is really, really positive, because I think that creates value, and then we can reinvest that value to do more of it. And we learn things, and more people try and take risks.
Right.
And because what doesn't work is bank loans that are personally guaranteed,
Right.
leases that are personally guaranteed, no money at all where you're bootstrapping, and you can't invest where you know you're going to get growth.
Or debentures with insane time
It's just weird, like 15% interest on some
ugly
loan.
interest, and at the end of it, you end up with 10% as the founder, and
it's just
it just doesn't make sense.
And I think there's better ways to do things, but you need to be around other people that know how to do it, and be able to talk about it openly, where people don't get just the behavior is just kind of in line or better. I mean, I think we just don't do a good job with a lot of that behavior by default. It's not that we don't want to. I think people want to do better.
So let's talk about. Let's go back now, because you're from Sault Ste. Marie.
I was formed in Sault Ste. Marie.
You were formed. So
Originally
how
from
did you
Dundas.
get from there to here? I know some of the here part.
Like everybody else, you just go to school here.
Yes.
No one stays in the north. It's funny because I remark about it, and my kid's around. He's probably on the phone right now, and he's going back to the north shortly. But and the weird thing is, from when I was a kid, the job market for him is the same as the job market was for me, except now it's not steel plants and paper mills going out of business. It's just everything's going out of business for young people. They won't hire them. And so there's no opportunities. The youth unemployment rate's about closing on 20% in Canada. Like, it is outrageous how we don't have crime spikes like we've never seen before. Like,
I also wonder how they get those numbers. Because I know a lot of kids who just haven't even tried to.
Oh, it's probably worse.
It's probably a lot worse than what they're actually
But it was
saying.
like that when I came out of high school, and lots of people just didn't even bother. So yeah, I mean, it's always worse than what the stats say.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that, and sometimes it can be better, but I don't think it is right now for them. But I grew up in a Sioux, like my high school, the steel plant went on strike. 20,000 employees ended up being 2. The paper mill shut down. Like it was like one of my high school class. I mean, it felt like 2/3 of the class, their parents weren't working. It was a short period, like the bounce kind of happened, but it wasn't like the North was shrinking, right? Like the Sioux was over 80,000 people, then it went down to about 60,000. Lots of stuff closed down, lots of stuff just changed. You're 8 hours away from Toronto. I mean, I know Michigan better than I know millage votes in Traverse City more than I know how Canada operates a lot of the time. But because we'd watch U.S. TV, we'd listen to U.S. radio. Like I didn't really have a lot of affinity for the South. But like we just were up there and isolated doing our thing. I mean, I ended up coming down. I mean, up there, I was lucky because I got exposed to entrepreneurs like JJ Hilsinger. He owned the Water Tower Inn and Search Mountain Ski Resort. And I was a ski patroller. And then in the summer, I was doing landscaping and then JJ came up to me. He's like, the other guys that are on the crew were giving me a hard time about something. I'm like, no, we got to do this. And JJ comes over. He's, you know what? You're an entrepreneur. And I can tell you're an entrepreneur. This isn't going to go well trying to be on the
with those guys.
Keep it to yourself.
But he goes, I know you're an entrepreneur, and I know that's why. Because I used to see him at the ski hill and all this kind of stuff. And it was one of those things where I hadn't even thought of it because my dad worked for government. My mom was a nurse.
Yeah.
They're entrepreneurial in their own way. Like my grandfather had his own, like my grandfather originally came to Kitchener after the Navy, worked for Electrohome, then started his own business. So he's always been the entrepreneur, but it's my parents' generation were not. And I think like I just hadn't thought about it then. And I think I only reflect on it as, okay, well, I'd actually planted a seed where I was like, maybe I should go try this. Maybe I should go do that. And I was never really the best student because school was boring. And, but I did well enough and I got into actually, I just went to Laurentian because I was going to ski. And then my prof at Laurentian was like, you got to leave.
What did you do?
Well, no, he was like, I haven't seen you in 4 weeks and you got 98 on the exam.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you're not being challenged here. And I'm like, yeah. And I know a guy. I know a prof. And like, you got to talk to this prof. And it was funny because I was trying to get into Laurier and I ended up getting into Waterloo, which worked out because that
How
was
cool
the
is that?
exposure.
Is that someone externally recognized this and took action?
Yeah, Dr. William Ose, he's still a prof. I think he's retired, but he's still a prof at Algoma University.
But not too many people would do that.
No, you know what?
These are the true angels.
Honestly, they totally are, and I feel like they exist in a higher density in the North.
Yeah,
because they're just more accessible. Like somebody, Build Canada was asking big entrepreneurs. Abe Seamus started AJ Bus Lines at Blind River. Had the Tim Hortons. Legend, World War II. He was a World War II pilot. He grew up just doing businesses. He was in his late 70s when I met him. Another person, same type of impact in terms of, like I was broke more times than I was wealthy. Like he was always like, I kept losing money building these companies. And it wasn't until he was in his 60s that he actually had pretty consistent success.
Thank God.
And
I have a chance now.
Me too.
Just don't give up. Don't give up.
Don't give up.
But it was an interesting, just because he's always taking risks and he's always trying to make the community better. And he was such a community person. Like Blind River, I mean, he's a legend in Blind River. His family's still there. AJ Bus Line still exists. And I think like those type of people you can get exposure to up there. And
yeah, you don't really get that around. And when you have a population that's over or nearing 500,000.
Well, what's 650 in the region right now? It's a lot. Like
it's hard to bump into people.
It's hard. I mean, and I got a bit of that up north, and I think that influenced me. But I came to university, and I mean, you get the .com thing. I didn't think I was going to be a coder. I like geography. I like geomatics. I liked biodiversity studies. I like to do that type of thing. I thought I was going to be I wanted to be I don't know, just like a marine biologist or in that type of environment. And then through that, I just started programming maps and learning how to program, and then just started working on the web and just I just always pulling threads, right? It's like, what is this going to go? What am I going to do? That's pretty cool. Let me keep working on that. And that, and in hindsight, is very much one of those entrepreneurial traits where it's like, I don't have a plan. I'm just going to go. And
well, what am I doing now? What am I seeing? What am I discovering?
Just go by feel, right? It's like, this feels good. I'm going to go this way. I mean, this is hard. I want to do that. And you just kind of go, this is interesting. And you just get obsessed, right? You just keep going. And I think that's always led to different things. And that's how I ended up getting around startups, because eventually we started building, myself and a co-op student who actually still hangs at a builders club with me. She worked for me at my company, Tribe HR. But she was like one of the first co-op students I hired. We built a bunch of Rails, Ruby on Rails stuff on campus. I was working at the university. And then we just started really challenging and getting to know founders, and Simon Woodside, who had Semicode at the time, which everyone thought he was crazy for barcode scanning.
Look at me now, Mom.
Well, the funny thing is he gave up on that one. He ended up doing a med tech. He did a med tech company that's done pretty well. I don't think he's working on it. I haven't talked to him in a while, but he's an awesome entrepreneur, really, really smart person. And but through that, we started startup camps. We started doing community stuff and getting, like, startup camps were weird because we just started that with, like, Ali Asaria was in the room, and Mike from Top Hat, and it was like one of the guys from Myovision was there. Like, but at the time, nobody knew who any of these, like, there wasn't much, right? It was like Ali had just bought well.ca. He had Canada Home Health, and he just bought the domain. He's like, I'm going to do this thing, and I'm going to call it well.ca. And so it was like that early, right? And like that turned into an event where we had like people from PagerDuty, which there's like Tailscale. Now Avery would demo his tech, which became Tailscale apparently. Nobody understood what he was working on then. He went and worked at Google and then went through a process himself. There's a bunch of like really interesting entrepreneurs that came through that. And that's how I just got interested in that type of thing. It ended up like getting plugged into Velocity. It started off at the University of Waterloo as one thing, but it was running for a couple of months. And then I was brought in, took over, and kind of plugged in the Waterloo ecosystem into the idea of these students that are just like to build and hack things. Which ended up being like Ted Livingston and Eric Michikowski from Pebble, and like Ted and Chris Best. Chris Best is the founder of Substack now. He was Kick, right? And Ted at 24 donated $1 million back to Velocity, right? Like these things just snowballed. I met Joseph Fung. We built Tribe HR, which HR SaaS company. At the time, it was us and like Vidyard were the two SaaS companies in town. Now there's a lot more. We just kept kind of just going. Like Velocity was never meant to be a startup thing, but it just ended up being a lot of startup people. But it was really about building and being kind of interested in each other. Same philosophy.
Same, yeah.
And over time, like ended up going to Toronto, build the Creative Destruction Lab at Rotman with Professor Ajay Agrawal, solving a different problem, right? Like how do we get people to invest in companies, right? Like Toronto's got all this incredible talent. Same, like again, not dissimilar to Builders Club with experienced people around, but Toronto's got all these people living in the annex and near there. They've all built huge companies. Why aren't they meeting scientists at a UT that have these aspirations? That was our theory, and turned out to be a pretty good one. Although it was a lot of Waterloo companies that came to the Creative Destruction Lab to meet those people. But Lee Lau from ATI, like that was a pretty decent sized Canadian tech company that invented graphics cards. Yeah. Like, just a small player. Yeah. And Lee, just a fantastic human being, right? Like he would be right there, first one to help an entrepreneur. He still invests in some of my Brandon, one of the founders, OTI. He was in the second OTI Lumionics. Michael, the founder there, they're still in Toronto. There's going to be some big stuff coming from them now, which 10 years later makes sense. And Lee still invested in them. He's still spending time with them. Those relationships were the whole point of these type of things, right? Like if founders to be successful, they got to meet people that have had success. They have to build those trusted relationships. They need to be invested in one another, and they need to help. Like that comes naturally, but it doesn't come by forcing it. And so I've always done this, right? Like I've always been around this. I went out east for a bit, spent 4 years in Halifax, trying to build something in that ecosystem. Not the same, because that's where I learned. Like Toronto is weird because it's like Waterloo adjacent, and I'm not going to say Waterloo is Toronto adjacent because I think when it comes to building, I think talent from Toronto comes to Waterloo to get developed, and then some of it goes back to Toronto. But most of it goes, like the really high talent goes to other places, like the certain type. I mean, they're not necessarily better or worse. It's just the type that are really moving fast and crazy. They tend to go down to the valley and stuff.
Right.
But Waterloo's a refinery, and people come here and they get developed. So, I mean, I've always been around that and always believed that. So Builders Club's just a product of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a pretty cool road. It almost, in my perspective, I've been in the whole builder thing around Waterloo since 1990, so a couple of years before you. But
yeah, you're right
like,
between the Trevor Grove and the Larry Borsatos. And,
Larry. Oh, Larry. There's a name I haven't heard in a while.
I haven't seen it. Yeah, he'd show up at the startup camp.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's the one who gave me a lot more perspective on West Graham and the CST group.
Yeah, brilliant. I saw the evolution. It's always been that when the university was built, it was a collaboration.
Yep.
It was a group of businessmen that really thought we needed something in this community, some higher education, and is going to bring value to the region, and it did, and it evolved, and they were the first university to allow their professors to monetize their own
to do stuff,
inventions, to do stuff, not to get in their way.
Well, and allow staff to do stuff too. They actually allowed a lot of things.
Yeah, which was perfect.
Yep.
And then that changed.
It's changed a bit, but I think you go back. I mean, I think it really, in terms of this community being a place of builders, really the University of Waterloo does epitomize that, because it's like the whole idea of a math faculty, the whole idea of like just all the things they're taking risks. It was take the risks this community takes with Electrohome, and I mean, yeah, you could call Labatt's or Seagram's or whatever else, but you had a lot of this engineering, Goodyear plants, like even Budd Automotive at a certain point, right? Like all these things are, people like to build stuff and they like to do stuff, and the community's really good at building stuff. Rempel-Feld, right? Like
we're surrounded by builders.
We know how to build stuff.
We have Mennonites that
like to build stuff.
They build stuff. Like, I know Mennonites that have CNC machines that are doing specialty machine stuff for BMW.
They just build stuff, right? And we like to build stuff. And I think the university represented that at its core. Like Doug Wright, incredible human that really took that in and amplified it. I mean, I think the history of the community is always that. Has the university changed of late? Yes and no. I mean, I think operationally, maybe. But at its core, no. The students that are there are still the same students that love to build. The profs, for the most part, they're all builders, and they like to be independent. And they're just doing stuff. The culture is really hard to change and make it go away. I think it's always been there. The challenge is it's not at the surface.
Yeah,
it's not at the surface right now.
Yes.
And I think that is something I hope can be changed in a community. I think it's important. I think it's not just important for Waterloo. I think it's important for the whole country that Waterloo wakes up and really embraces that building, because I think there's a Waterloo alumni, which isn't just about University of Waterloo alumni, but it's just people that have been here, have been touched by this community. They all are builders. They come here to build. You don't come here for the nightlife. You definitely You're not coming. You're not coming for the beach.
Steve and I are going to change that.
Yes, we are. The boathouse may be on the water, but that's about it. Yeah. So, but I think like this community, you come here because you want to be around people that build stuff, and you get it, and you want to be around that, and it attracts that, and then they spread out around the world, and we have this great network. We haven't used it. And I think we have to use it, and I think we have to connect it. We have to amplify. But
I think we have to amplify it beyond the tech industry.
Oh, for sure. But I don't think there is a tech industry anymore. I think the whole concept of tech industry is over. Like, I don't think that that's a thing. Like, I think people use tech in everything,
right?
And it's it's a tool, and it's not just. It can be the core of your business, but you're not selling tech. You're selling a service. You're value. You have to have value creation. Like, it's not, I mean, even in marketing coffee, you're going to use tech, right?
But like what we focus on is, are the tech builders. We don't focus on the coffee builders. We don't focus on.
Well, speak for yourself. I mean, I think anybody who's building anything is really interesting. I mean, maybe not
absolutely.
maybe not a package of insurance things to sell me, but I don't think that's really innovative. But it's nothing wrong with it. Love insurance, people, unless I'm paying my premiums. Please keep my premiums down.
Yeah, and cover me when I smash up my vehicle.
Yes.
Yeah, or your kid does.
Yeah.
The
Or when they take it, like my friend who's had a brand new Porsche taken in Montreal.
that's Montreal. That's not our problem.
No, but
He's missing a Porsche.
the point behind what I was saying though is that it was the police were just like, yeah, it just happens. It's a thing now in Canada. You just lose your cars, and it's. But it doesn't have to be that way.
No,
But
That's a whole other.
but that's a
podcast.
different.
Yeah, but my point is that they just disappear, things like that.
Well,
yeah, and technology
we don't.
should be able to.
Oh no, they invented a thing to mask it so that they could take it, and then when it comes back alive, it's in Mauritius,
Yeah.
Mauritania. Sorry,
Mauritania, yeah.
It popped up.
Yeah, I mean, those are solvable problems. I think it. I mean, we've had a period of time where the accountability has not been fashionable, and I think it's really easy to. I mean, I find it with trying to teach my kid. It's like, no, it's not okay. You didn't perform like you wanted to perform. It's not that it's bad either, but you don't need a reason why you didn't perform. You need to just perform.
Correct.
And we lost a bit of that along the way, where it's like, oh, it's okay because.
Well,
blah,
the
blah, blah, blah.
excuse was just simple, and everything had an excuse in the last. I mean, you saw it.
Everything has an excuse.
The woke culture that came about in the last. But not getting into that. But I'm just saying is that the accountability, what you're talking about,
Accountability
was lost,
It's been lost,
and it's coming back, and I think the pendulum's swinging back in the other direction, or we have to pull it into this direction.
yeah, I think it's. Unfortunately, I don't think the pendulum cares about your political leaning, because the pendulum is on both sides of politics is a bunch of dumb, and so it's like, because no one wants to be held accountable. Like, that's the common thing everyone seems to share on those extremes. It's like, no, you can't get better if you're not accountable. Like, you can't improve. You can just be vacuous and hype driven, but that doesn't get you anywhere. Like, there's a bunch of analogies that come out around that. And it's like, you could just be like comfortable and safe, but somebody in this world will take advantage of that.
Of course.
And for whatever, like, we can think, like, whatever, we don't think that that's a thing, but if we don't wake up, we don't understand that you need to improve. It's constant improvement, because somebody else will be, and they will take advantage of the fact that you're not improving. Well, and I think that's in business and anything else, right? Like, you need to. It's
funny though, because what you're talking about, it's a more so a North American problem. I've traveled a lot, and there's a lot more accountability elsewhere than here.
Yeah, and they don't get personal on it.
No.
They're like, yeah, well, geez, I screwed up. I should fix that.
Yeah, but I'm saying that whole the growth of that lack of accountability is something that's started in North America. And I don't mean Canada, but
I think
you don't find it as prevalent in other places.
No, because you don't have the geopolitics that focused on influencing us through social media and other things, right? So, I mean, the tech industry has created this monster, and that much like the printing press, we just have this media press that can influence us in a way that, using propaganda, which was called propaganda in the 40s, we could call it marketing today. But it's the same thing, right? It's I want to convince you to do something, and it may not be good for you, but you're going to do it because you want to, because I convinced you. And I mean, that's marketing. And it's like, we just make it sound a little better, but you can use it for good and evil. And I think the challenge is when you make a super low cost way to be able to influence people's behavior, people will take advantage of that. Whether it's, I think the one thing I was talking to somebody today, and it was like, it's not about though, like, we want to blame a person. And a lot of these things aren't, humans are really funny, like humans in groups, like, it's not about the person. It's just, these movements are just movements. So it's like, we want to pull a thing. It's like, but the movement, the collective responsibilities to counter these movements with some sanity, but it's hard because
I think part of the problem is how you described marketing. About, I need to influence you, I need to change your mind and to do something, but that's not marketing.
Or encourage.
That's not marketing. That's manipulation. Marketing, true marketing, is where you understand where the pain points are, and where you can adapt and you can. So yes, I'm paying too much for this. How do I build something? So so if you're building something, marketing should be, well, who am I building it for? Am I building it just for me, or am I building it for someone else? Or is it for me, a problem I have and there's someone else who has the same issue? Do I validate that? Do I confirm it? Do I test it? Do I see is this a solution that's actually going to work? That's marketing.
Sure, but you still want an outcome.
You want an outcome on performance. Yeah, you need to know what your competition is. You need to know, are you going to be more expensive, easier, faster?
But I want to buy my thing, not your thing. I want to convince them to do that.
Yeah. Well, why build something that isn't better?
Well, but better doesn't always.
We're going back to the manipulation versus.
I don't think.
I don't. And my position has always been, Mark. Like whenever I've worked in a tech company, is like, don't try to sell this crap and force it on somebody, because it's not going to work on for you're building a birch, not an oak tree.
Well, and when I talk about the things like the tech industry is kind of not the tech industry that we used to do, so, because I think that they made that mistake. I mean, I think we went through that upside everything up and to the right.
My biggest fight.
But I think that's over, because you can see the growth isn't happening because they're
bailing.
Because there's no real value.
They're jumping the ones.
But there's no real value, right? It's playing games. I want you to subscribe. I want you to subscribe, and you might give up, but I'm going to get 3 other people. So as long as it works in a time frame, I can just keep convincing people to sign up. I don't care if I provide any value. That time, I think, is over.
Yeah.
And I think you have to create real value. And the scary part now is, I think, because of the capabilities of AI, the playbook of I'm just going to make a spreadsheet fancier is definitely gone. Mm-hmm. And so it's just...
Yeah, Steve and I were talking about that earlier today.
It's distribution. It's trust. And I think people need to believe and align with the story you're telling and who you are, and you will get a group of people that align themselves with that thing and more likely to buy. And you're right, you can't get away with manipulation anymore, because I think everyone wants something real. Like, I think we're developing, because as much as we've messed up in terms of tech influencing mass hysteria and all these other things, I think we're coming down the other side of it, where it's like, no, we know that's not true. We know that's not real.
Do you think we can fix the damage done?
We'll fix the damage we've done. Humans are amazing.
Yeah.
Society's been around for a very long time. This is not, will it hurt? Probably.
I mean, I simplify this to the point of, I don't work in tech. I don't work in building these kind of things. I work in mostly with people. And the damage that I see in the people that we have now versus the people that we had 10 years ago, I don't know if they can, that group, I don't know if it's savable. I think the next group will be better. But I have a lack of confidence in a certain age gap, because we did so well to screw them up that their values are just so far off the map. I don't know if you can reel them back in.
Well, but I think they're going to get, I mean, yeah, they may fall harder, but the beauty of humans is when challenged, when they have adversity, when they feel pain, they get better.
But we removed the adversity.
Well, they don't. The adversity is still there. They still have to have a job.
It is, but it's not like we faced adversity.
It's a different adversity. Maybe we don't recognize it.
Yeah, maybe. I haven't thought that it could be a different adversity, but the adversity that we face is not the adversity that they face.
I don't know. I mean, they haven't faced it yet.
Well, no, there's groups that have faced nothing, adversity, and they've just been skating through life and thinking that it's just comes easy.
Sure.
And those are the ones that are going to fall the hardest.
In fairness to those folks, I don't think we've ever had a period of growth that we just went through. And I don't think, the older you were, the more you're like, oh, this is going to come down. And it's like, it didn't come down. You're like, oh, crap, it's not coming down. This is not going to go well. And I mean, the cycle just, for whatever, that growth just went on way too long.
If you didn't have the coping skills taught to you under the age of 18, very rarely are you going to be able to develop those coping skills after.
No, my favorite part of because I got rid of my TikTok, but Instagram videos, my favorite thing is the whole Gen X war with everything, because it's like, yeah, we don't care. Like, it's like we've been through, we already hate everything, so it's fine. And I think, like, I'm on the younger side of that, but it's like, I certainly recognize that because of where I grew up. And I think that the reality is, like, it's like, I've seen this all before. I know I'm going to lose everything. Like, it's just, but I've already lost everything. So what's the harm? And I think that there's an age group that hasn't lost yet. And but they're going to lose if they have $1 million mortgage and they have 5% interest rate on it. Like,
I don't
once they
think
do the calculation, how much interest they're paying, like it's not a good feeling.
I don't think that age demographic has lost it yet. But they're on track to do so, and that's why I said, can we recover? I mean, I think you're right. Humankind is resourceful and resilient, so it won't
humankind
recover.
as a whole. But
I think
there's
and especially going back to my perspective of being multicultural and multinational, is that the same age demographic that I suffer with here and I interact with in other countries that have always faced adversity, they are so much more alive and in tune.
Yeah,
and they will eat this age group here alive if they could get to it, but they can't. And it's worrisome, but I think you're right. Like in the bigger picture, it's humanity, and they'll get through it.
They'll get through it. I mean, I feel like Canada has some serious challenges. Like, I don't think, I don't know if Canada has woken up to it, but I know, like, you look at, I'm lucky because I get to be around the really ambitious. I've chosen to not be around the ones that are not in reality. And I mean, they get it. They're pushing themselves. They're taking on things. They have an optimism that is infectious in terms of the opportunities that are out there. And I think that, but they also understand the pain and the pain that you have to go through to get to where you want to go. And I just think that
they're naturally, I won't say they're naturally driven, but they have an established curiosity and discovery gene or something magical, because they didn't come to this university without having that.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like, I don't think it's just about this university, but I think it's just, I think people, I mean, there's for sure a group that's just still out to lunch in terms of not understanding what's actually happening. But I don't know if it's the young people. Like, I feel like there's just this institution.
Well, what do you call young?
but I think I don't think it's about a demographic as much as it's just about a work environment, like an institutional class, where they're just in an environment where they don't have, their paycheck shows up all the time.
Right.
And they've never been laid off. And they've never had to actually go and find a customer.
Well, and they don't even know how to work.
They just know how to follow rules. And but I think those folks are going to struggle the most.
Right.
And I don't know if our government's going to do, like, are they going to do mass layoffs? Are they going to be fiscally responsible and do that punishing thing? I don't know. But I think there's enough. That is a risk because we have a lot of that in Canada versus other places. But outside of, but I still think I know the younger folks, like, if you push things on high school kids, the high school kids are just like any other high school kids. Teacher says left, kids say right. It doesn't matter what it is, right? So it's like, they've pushed this whole thing down on the students. Students are like, whatever, like, that's pretty dumb. And I
think you're right, because I have a younger kid. So, like, I think I saw your boy. He looks a little older. Mine's 14, and
I have a 14-year-old too.
But the pendulum for my kid has come back the other way, and they're eager and they're hungry.
They're hungry.
And to hear that you interact with a group, a demographic that I probably interact with the same age group, but I don't have the highly motivated ones around me at all times, and I don't interact with university students all that often because of what I do. But that's inspiring to hear that there is that hunger out there, and that there is a rebirth or a growth of it, or that it's a cultivation that's happening, and that's inspiring to hear because it gives you a better perspective towards the future.
So like, I mean, the university doesn't publish the numbers, but the unemployment rates for co-op are like something I'm pretty sure they've never seen before. Like, they are not getting jobs. And it sucks for them, right? And I feel for them, and I wish they would get the opportunities because they really deserve it. They're hardworking. But the innovation that's coming because of that is amazing.
Right.
And the stuff that they're doing and the side projects they're working on and the stuff they're like Socratica.
The desperation is a great motivator.
It is. I mean, you take all this creative, incredible energy and talent, and they've got nothing left to do. They got nothing else to do with it, like whatever they want. wow, the outputs are insane. So I think people need to pay attention to that. They need to look for it. And I think there's an upside to the stuff not going the way as planned. And it just, the challenge I think is it's not going to be evenly distributed. It's not going to be fair. Like it's going to be hard because they're going to have to do the work. And if they don't do the work, it's not going to work out for them.
Well, and nothing that's of value has ever been easy. It's hard work. I mean, some people get lucky in life, but most people don't. Most people have to work. Yeah, you have to.
Everything's hard.
Absolutely, and you see it. You see it in every walk of life. If the people that put the effort in get the reward, the people that don't won't.
Yeah, and
then
no
they cry that they won't, but there's no guarantee that you'll get it either. But there is a guarantee that if you don't work, you won't get
it. That's the only thing that's guaranteed. If you do not put any effort, there is no return.
Right.
I think the problem is people that spend a lot of time on social media tend to see the results. And they don't see all of the work that went to get there.
Oh, you mean people aren't perfect?
Oh, yeah. There's so much work in those videos. There's so much work in those videos that people do that are really well.
And so people have in their mind that I can have that level of success with no work, with minimal work. That's what music is often selling people. You watch a music video.
Yeah, just sit down. I'm going to write an awesome song right now. And
and they're standing in front of a $500,000 car, and it's not their car.
No,
but that's what they're selling. And even just the way some of the artists, the way they speak or sing, it's extremely low effort.
Yeah.
Look at all the stuff I have. I didn't even really have to work for it. Look how great I am, and look how easy it was.
And some of the stuff gets some eyeballs for a bit, but at the flip side, I mean, the kind of cool thing for musical talent is you do see some of them getting viral on TikTok on their own. Mm-hmm. But the refinement and what their product is on there, it's like, that's actually really, like, you could be naturally gifted and talented and just produce a great one-on-one shot. But they hustle, like they're touring, they're working, they're generating content constantly. Like they're 12 hours a day of just go. That's how they end up being viral. They don't end up being viral because one video worked. They end up because 1,000 didn't. Like and I think you get that messaging from a lot of people who have been successful, but it's like, you never hear how hard this is. Like the whole concept that some people have it easy is not good, because it's like, no one really has it easy. Some people can get doors open, but they still have to do the work. And so,
well, there are a lot of people who've had doors open
and nothing happened.
Nothing happened. They crumbled.
Yeah.
You see the kids of major stars.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Who have some talent,
but they didn't
some
work.
really good talent, but they didn't work at it, and they were hoping that they could leverage the relationships.
Yeah.
And if you don't put the work in, the people who are the distributors or the influencers are not going to support it.
You can't sell a bad product. Like you can't keep selling a bad product. You maybe get off of like an early bump, but you're not going to be able to, no matter what it is. You can't. Bad products are bad products, and I think that it takes effort to have a beautiful product, because it's a constant iteration. It's constant,
and
change.
It's a discovery process, because you don't even know what a good product is until you get it out there, and you get feedback, and you listen to the feedback, and you modify as a result of that feedback, or you make sure that you're not listening to the wrong feedback, or being.
Well, you don't even know what that is either. Like it's just there's no. I always like the closest. There's just no manual. Like you can't get an engineering textbook and build a successful company, build a successful product. Because if you could, we'd all be rich.
Right.
And it's just no one's ever been able to figure it out, but profs constantly try. And it's like, and it's always a prof. And and once in a while you might get Eldon's writing books.
Yeah.
And even in that's not a manual. That's here's the pain.
Yeah, this is what I went through.
This is what I went through. And the hope that you go through your own pain, but none of these things. Or if you see them, you can recognize them. And I think
Eldon was the founder of eCentaur.
Founder of eCentaur, wrote a fantastic book, and just the story of where he came from. And I think I like it when they share those things, and it's really raw, because it's like, yeah, this is your path, but it's not my path.
This is why we want to do these podcasts. We want people to know different people's stories, that it's not a clear path. There's no real formula.
Effort.
It's effort. And it's character. and its values and its relationships
Oh.
and its community. And that's every time we do a podcast, that comes through loud and clear.
I think it's a constant in everything. Like and maybe you don't discover it until you have enough experience where it's like, oh yeah, no, I believe this now.
Right. Yeah. Well,
It's hard to believe.
takes some life.
It's really hard to believe it. Like, and it's funny because I mean, and he walked in, and I'm going to talk about him. Kid walked in, and I mean, examples of he plays hockey, and you can see, yeah, some people kind of game the system, and their kids get opportunities early, and they do this type of thing. But as you get older, the people doing the work and the people gaming the system, if they're not the same person, they're not in it anymore.
Right.
And they're young.
Yeah.
And the gap's already there because the hard work is where all the details.
It's
start
so
to show
funny
up.
that you
And
said
it's-
that because I was having a conversation just this afternoon with a 14-year-old, and one of his buddies is also competing in this. They're in a high level training, and he's like, this other kid, he's just not that good. He's just bigger than everybody, and so it comes easy to him. But he goes, he doesn't put in the work.
Yeah.
And he goes, and it's going to catch up with him. And this is my 14-year-old telling me about life moments that he's having. And it was interesting for him to see that and understand
That's
that
awesome.
the work is what gets you there.
The work is what gets you there over the long run.
Right.
And the challenge is, do you have the fortitude to kind of go, I'm not winning right now, but I
Yeah.
know if I keep doing the work.
Well, and
Well,
if you
it-
do the work and then eventually the luck strikes.
Yeah. And I think, but you can see that, again, it's over time, right? Like, I mean, use hockey. You go from parents gaming the system with 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Like, I've coached baseball. I can tell you the worst ages to coach are up until puberty hits because everyone thinks their kid's going to be a baseball star. and
And it's not the kids that are the problem.
And it's not. The kids are awesome.
Yeah.
And I think that the challenge is but the politics and the intensity of people trying to game a system, it's like, look, like, I can look at, I mean, I know baseball better than I know hockey. I could look at a field. I could tell you the 2 natural ball players in that sea of 50 kids. They're the only 2. And then there's a couple others that just love the game. They're going to get better. Everyone else isn't going to play when they're 16. I guarantee it. And I mean, over
They'll play
time,
when they're 24 and it's a beer league.
they might play beer league, but they might never play again, right? And
Yeah.
and I think I think that that's one of the challenges. Like, you can see, like, there are some people that are naturally talented, but those aren't the rules. Like, there's a whole with way more people that aren't that did all the work, and they became because they did it. And I think sports is kind of an easier one to point to sometimes, but I mean, music's the same thing, right? Like, you can have natural talent; those aren't the norm.
It's true.
You have to have the people that do all the work. And startups, same, you got to do the work. And I think everything, that universal thing, you forget in good times.
Right.
Because you don't have to do as much work to get a result.
But the kids aren't hearing these things. They don't hear these stories.
I think the kids hear it. I actually think they know it. I feel like
At what point do you think they hear and know it?
I think they're starting to know it. I think they're learning it. I think it's just I don't know. The kids will be fine. It's the
Yeah.
adults I worry about,
Right.
and because they don't want to learn anymore.
Well, you could walk into a job after grade 12, make a decent living with a great pension. I'm talking people older than me. I know that's old.
There are no.
Yeah, I know. There's a few left. There's a few left. But they didn't really have to put in the time to get those jobs, and those jobs weren't overly difficult, and the competition wasn't great. You could hop into a firefighting job, a teacher job, a factory job that was paying more than doctors, and so there's this huge layer of expectations that were generated because of opportunity at a time when you really didn't have to put a whole lot of effort into it. Now, if you wanted to make more, then you had to do more, but there was a level of complacency that then sort of trickled down to their kids.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think humans are funny because we have short memories with some things and long memories with others. And I mean, historically, you look back and people have complained about 20-somethings as long as they could write. And as long as
But
it's
for
writing,
different reasons.
even in stone tablets, apparently, there's complaints about the youth. Like Plato complained about the youth. They do things differently, and there's natural, I don't know, a natural feeling of threat from just their ability and their energy, and you know that eventually they'll figure it out. I don't feel like I have so much optimism for the youth. Again, I do
for our youth now.
I don't. Yeah, I would say people have observed there's a challenge with the people that are in their late 20s to early 30s because they entered a job market that does not exist anymore, and in a way that does not exist anymore, with a competition level that just doesn't exist anymore. And they were at an informative time that's really hard to say that that's not how things are.
Right.
And they've made commitments and blah, blah, blah. So it's harder for them to change. But I think, I feel like people are generalizing and looking at these type of things. I think that they are figuring it out, and they will figure it out in a different way. I don't know how much of that's like just being old and grumpy. And
I agree.
And it's okay to be old.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
it's fine. It's actually fine, because that voice needs to be heard where someone's going to say, wait a minute, because maybe they'll self-correct. Maybe they'll say this one bad behavior or that bad habit I have, that's what he's talking about. I don't want to do that. And so it's not a bad thing to point out some of those things, because it's not like it is the truth is we had a lot of growth and we had a lot of positive, we had good times. It is not good times now. So you got to get ready to go. Like, you got to get ready to figure this stuff out. And so I think it's not bad to point those things out, but I have way more optimism that they're going to figure it out.
I would agree that kids have learned to be far more adaptable than previous generations. They've had to adapt to new things, new technologies, and so that adaptability in and of itself is going to help them survive and figure things out.
Or just listen to the AI; it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will take care of it.
Yep. Yeah. They're a therapist, AI therapist.
Yeah. It's happening.
It's happening.
Was it Zuckerberg who wants everyone to have their own tuned AI to help manage their?
Oh, we're going down rabbit holes.
Yeah.
I think
that's a long one.
But I think, to your thing, I think we can always point something that's going to be doom and gloom, like the whole articles on AI melting people's brains.
Mm-hmm.
I'm watching how they're using it to make everything they're doing way faster, way better, and I'm doing it myself.
Yeah.
Their productivity is going to go through the roof. There's just going to be more stuff, more noise, and that's going to make us not listen to propaganda as much. I think that there's just so much there. We don't know where
it's going to go. I mean, I was involved in the e-commerce in 2000, and they thought it was going to die, and it wasn't going to go anywhere.
Yeah, how much value is Shopify now?
Yeah, yeah. So there's all those things. Yeah, no, these wise words. This is why we bring you in. This is why.
Well, it's a path of correction of some of the thoughts that you have or you get to, because you can reach conclusions from talking to a certain group of people, and then you're like, oh my God, and then you hear the voice of reason from a different perspective, and it's like, all right, we can realign here. It's not as bad as it.
Not doom and gloom.
It's not as bad as the doom and gloom. There's actually pockets of amazing and unreal coming, and so it shouldn't be so.
And the unknown has always existed.
Yeah, I think my motivation for what I'm doing now is I just want to be around people that are fun to be around.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be around assholes.
Yeah.
And so that's just whatever it costs, whatever it takes, that's what I'm going to do.
That's my thing. I know for these guys they have to be around me, but that's okay.
Well, but no, I get my offset because
as long as I'm the asshole, it's fine.
I have bright young minds that work with
yes,
me
you
here.
do. Yeah.
And so why? Because I love the different way of looking at the same things, and then we come with a more rounded decision-making capacity, because the bright young minds don't think the way we do, and then the ones after that won't think the way they do, and they'll face this same thing when they're our age. And so, it is a common theme throughout humanity that we always think that our parents didn't do it the right way, or our elders didn't do it the right way, that we can do it better, but then someone comes and shows us a different way that can also guide us down. So I think it's inspiring to have bright young minds around you, because they help you adjust.
It's also inspiring to have you
appreciate that.
Jesse, to foster this in an organization like the Builders Club. I think if anybody has a chance to, is there a website that?
Yeah, buildersclub.ca.
Can we
Hey,
come
how
visit?
simple-
Yeah, you can visit.
I
You can do
wanna
your podcast.
visit.
You can record the podcast in there. I don't know if we can control the sound as well as you can here, but
Yeah, this was built specifically
Yes.
for this
yeah,
environment.
Jay has a lot of HVAC. It gets a little noisy,
yeah.
but there's some decent rooms.
Yeah.
We do, but I appreciate that. I think it's important to do. It's fun to do. I mean, that's why I'm doing it.
And this could be a lesson for other communities.
Sure. I mean, they
Maybe.
can
I
do
know.
their own
I
thing.
know we said we don't know if that could work in another community.
I don't think there's the density of builders, but they can find something that works for their community. And they should.
I think every community should learn how to be builders.
But don't try to be Waterloo.
Don't just try to be your own.
Be whatever you are.
Be your own builder
Yep.
community, but you need builders.
You need builders of whatever
You
you're
need
building.
founders, you need musicians, you need builders, creators.
And coffee, don't forget coffee.
And don't forget
We
coffee.
so
make,
much
we
coffee.
make all of them work, so I know that we're needed.
Yeah.
You're the fuel.
All right. Well, I think our
Forever
time is
employed.
running out here. So,
Yeah.
again, thank you, Jesse. I
Thanks,
appreciate
Jesse.
it.
That was awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Steve?
Beautiful. Thank you
Beautiful.
so much.
Man of the words.
Thanks.
Okay. Well, cheers. Until next time. See ya.
Forget the tired old morning jolt. Why settle for a mere pick-me-up when you can have a taste of bliss that pulses through you like the opening chords of your favorite song? Eco Coffee's original blends don't just start your day right, they awaken it with an enchantment, a deep, resonant pleasure. We're talking about that sexual healing kind of morning joy, a sensation that lingers long after the last drop. You can never go wrong with a little morning bliss that feels this good.